I think that there is one really, really key missing link to so many people's lives, especially when it comes to self-love, self-confidence, the things that we call into our lives. Like, we usually as humans, and maybe it's just very conditioned into us, but we are constantly searching outside of ourselves. I know that this is something that I've done for so many years, and last night before I was going to bed, I'm currently visiting my best friend in Kelowna right now, and I'm leaving this morning, so I just woke up, but I felt really called to share this because last night before I was going to bed, I've been meditating quite frequently. And of course, when I go to visualize the life that I desire and the person I want to become and what I want to call into my life, it is so easy to visualize things outside of ourselves. Like, maybe you desire a romantic relationship, maybe you desire your dream home, or a place that you want to live, or a certain financial status, or just whatever you're calling in, okay? It's normally external things that we don't have right now, and so we want to manifest them, right? But what I realized last night, and I almost had this small, quiet, calm nudge and voice inside of me that was like, what about me? And it was just, I think, my inner self and my inner being, I guess. I don't even really know how to explain it, but just me to my core being like, what about me? Like, when are you going to focus on loving me? And this isn't even to say that it sounded like a me, because that's kind of like rooted in ego. It was just more like, we search so often outside of ourselves, but we don't even give ourselves the love, the energy, like all the things that we're trying to call in. We aren't even giving ourselves that same level of dedication, of just showing up for yourself, of seeing yourself. All of the times in my life that I think back to when I like desired a relationship so much, like I would feel so lonely, and I was like, oh, if I could just have a partner, if I could just have a companion, like my life would be better, or I would be happy, or whatever it is. And this inner me, it was almost just this sense of like, it was never someone else coming into my life that was going to make me happy. It was always like, I needed to see myself. I needed to love myself first. I needed to give myself what I need first to fill this void. And I think that this is so common in society. We're always waiting for that external thing. And how often do we actually just sit with ourselves, or when we're in meditation, or if we're out in the world, like how often do we just love on ourselves and give ourselves what we need and support ourselves and give ourselves the reassurance? And we have this divide because we're always searching outside of ourselves, because we think that we're not whole. Like, we need someone to complete us, or we need something to come into our lives that is finally going to make us feel the way that we want to feel. And so last night, I like cried in a really sweet, like healing way, because it just like, it felt like I was coming back home. And I've experienced that a few times, but like not often. And I think it just, it's coming up a lot for me because I am working through a breakup still. I'm working through a big life transition, trying to figure out my life right now. Things are changing. I feel a really big shift in my life. I feel like my world is changing. I'm changing. I'm really transitioning in a lot of big ways. And it just was such a huge reminder that like, I'm safe in my own body, and I'm always going to have my own back. And if we as a society talked about this more and just promoted like self-love, not in a like superficial way, not like going to the spa and doing all these external things, because that's still kind of like looking outside of ourselves. But like, if we just practice stillness, if we went out into nature more, if we sat with ourselves more, if we did meditate more, meditation is becoming more mainstream, but I still think in a way sometimes we use it to seek outside of ourselves, when really it should be about coming back into our own bodies, coming back to ourselves. And the universe responds to you 1000% of the time. So if you are always like wanting something, if you're like, I want a relationship, I need this, I want this, we're still operating from that place of lack. And the universe is going to be like, yeah, I'll give you more of that. And it gives us more wanting. And so we're constantly in this vibration and this frequency of wanting and not having and needing. And then we just get stuck in that. So one thing I am trying to practice more that I think is so valuable is to just like having, like, I have abundance, I have love, I have empowerment, I have confidence, I have everything I need right now in this moment, and I'm so open to receiving even more abundance, and I'm open to receiving even more love. I'm open to receiving synchronicities and opportunities, and trusting that the right path will present itself when the timing is right. Just knowing like I'm exactly where I need to be right now. Not forcing and not wanting from a place of lack and neediness. So I think that if more of us gave ourselves the chance to sit with ourselves, to give ourselves the love, the support, the reassurance that we need, not only will we fill up our cup so much more and then be able to go out into our lives and, you know, pour from a full cup, but it's just this sense of knowing like I am the love of my life. And it's this really just full and abundant energy that you then operate from. And I'm not saying that it's easy or it comes naturally. Like, this is something that like I have been learning over the last probably almost 3 years, and it's just starting to click. But I think if we're open to learning how to receive our own love, not always looking outside of ourselves, not always needing something outside of ourselves to change the way that we feel, that's when we start to live from the inside out. That's when we start to vibrate on a different frequency, and then we start to match different frequencies. Speaking of frequency, currently running my throat chakra on my frequency device, and this has been changing my life. And I also think this is why I'm able to connect to a deeper part of myself and harmonize and support my nervous system and just come back to an even more balanced body, mind, and soul with myself, and clear certain blocks, clear certain subconscious patterns, and really step into the life that I desire. Frequency is changing my life. So how can you go love on yourself? How can you go sit with yourself more, be with yourself more, love on yourself, and give yourself the support, reassurance, and time that you deserve to give yourself instead of seeking outside of yourself?